Hello, I've been studying Duke Nukem Forever so I can speedrun it later, and I'm making this video to show off some of the major skips I've found. I'm not going to be doing everything, but I'm just going to show off the really big skips. The first one is here in the Duke Dome. Now we're coming up to one of the first skips in the game. Right after that section.
Looks like I'm getting off here.
Gonna run over through a crate, and then I'll explain the skip. Really simple, but it skips a lot actually, about 2 minutes or more. So here, you're supposed to enter this trailer and hit a button to start a battle that can take like 2 minutes or more to do. But instead of doing that, I'm just gonna run over, grab one of these, go over by this fence, just look down and make sure it says drop, because if you throw it instead of dropping it, it'll explode. And once it's there, you just need to hop off of it, go right over the fence. Skip the trailer scene completely. That's the first major skip that I've found. And there's one other small skip, but it's not really a skip at all, it's just a tactic you can get through this faster. I'll go ahead and show too. You're lucky. You'll normally blow that barrel out down to you so you don't have to wait for it. So that was a little slow. I was a little unlucky. So here you only need 3 of these heavy barrels. So you get those 2 quickly. Throw 2 of them down here, but leave 1 down at this spot approximately. And I'll explain that in a second, why you want to do that. But you only want to throw 2 of these barrels actually into the crate to get through faster. Okay, so that barrel is in the right spot. Normally you're supposed to throw 3 in. If I pick this up, it's going to lift up again. See, it lifts up. If I put it back, it'll go back down. It's a weird way they program this section of the game where there's a trigger that if the barrel is near the bottom of the crate, it'll think it's inside of the crate, even though it's not. So if you just throw 1 down here near the bottom and then only throw 2 in, you can actually get on top of this crate a little faster. Okay, the next major skip in the game occurs in Ghost Town, and it is the most difficult skip to do. While you're in Ghost Town, you're supposed to go to town and have a showdown with a bunch of pigs, but instead of doing that, I'm going to lure one of the pigs to the church over here. As long as you don't kill the first pig, no more pigs will spawn. So I'm going to lure him by the church, and once he's there, he won't be able to follow me back into town. So that is the first step of the skip. So you run by this tavern on the right side of town, pig comes out, and just run back to the church. And he will eventually follow you. It doesn't take him very long to catch up with you. But while you're in here, like they come sit right here, this seems to have the best results by this magazine. You can get an ego boost from that. Okay, once he's over here, he'll be trapped in that area. For some reason, once he enters that area, he won't be able to follow you anymore. He'll be stuck over there. So now that he's stuck, you can start stacking barrels. You want to come over here by the barn, start stacking barrels right here, right about where that bush is. And your goal is to stack 6 barrels, jump onto the roof, and then go across it and jump off the roof, and you can skip this chapter pretty easily that way. Okay, so now comes the hard part. It's the stacking the barrels, because stacking barrels in this game is pretty difficult. So you come by the barrel, look down a little bit, then jump and drop it. If you don't jump and drop it, the barrel won't land on top of the other barrel. You have to jump and drop. Make them stack. Now stacking like 3 or 4 barrels is actually pretty easy, but getting to 6 is a lot more difficult. So you have to stack them very neatly and have tiny ledges to jump on. And you have to jump on those ledges carefully, because if you don't, you'll push the barrels around and mess up your stack. So you just have to practice stacking barrels a lot to do skip. And it's more difficult because they're explosive, so if you mess up the stacking, they'll blow up on you and you have to restart the chapter. Or not the chapter, just go back to the last checkpoint actually. And you have to lure the pig again to the church and start stacking all over. And okay, that's not a good stack actually. That top barrel is in a bad spot. I'm gonna fix it first. Got it? By stacking it again. And stacking them does look pretty slow, but it is faster than fighting all the enemies, as long as you do this on your first attempt. You can waste a lot of time here if you mess up stacking and have to restart a lot. But if you do it on your first attempt, it should save a lot of time. Because what you're supposed to do in this area is fight a bunch of enemies, then the barn door will blow up, then another wave of enemy comes out, you kill them, then you go into the barn, solve a puzzle, get a gas can, take the gas can back to the truck, fill up the truck, then leave with the truck. But by stacking the barrels by the barn, you can skip all of that, just go to the next area, without the truck actually. Be close. That's a stack of 6. And I like to fall back down there because it's safer than staying at the top. You can stay there, it's a little risky. Now I just need to climb it carefully. Get on the roof. Once you're on the roof, you come here. You might think you're stuck, but because there's an invisible wall here at the edge of the roof, but in fact, walk off this edge, there isn't one. I don't know why they put a wall there, but not on the other end. It's a mistake. That's a weird thing. I've never seen that before. The gun up there. Anyways, once you do that, you want to run to the right and jump on this rock. Carefully walk across it, because if you don't do that carefully, you can get stuck on that rock actually, but it's pretty easy to do without getting stuck. Run through this area, run down this cave, and you reach the next checkpoint. And when you do, the game assumes you got here with the truck, and once it loads, there I am, I'm back with the truck and full gas again, so I didn't have to get the gas can. So that's the most difficult skip in the game, but it does save a few minutes of time if you get it on your first attempt. I'm going to cut the video and then show the next major skip that I found. Okay, next I'm going to do the fork stop, because there are a few little tricks here you can do to get through the game faster. And you can get through the fork stop without using the forklift at all actually. You're supposed to use the forklift to get through the area, but you don't actually need it. This is one of the easiest skips to do. It doesn't save a whole lot of time, but it is definitely worth doing. And actually I'm going to cut the video past this first part because there's nothing to show off here really. Okay, once you reach this point in the fork stop, you're supposed to climb down this ladder and run around this area. There's a stack of boxes there that's blocking your path, so you're supposed to go down there, break those boxes, and continue on your way. But when you go down there, it will trigger a bunch of octopuses that are going to fight you. So a little trick you can do here that will avoid the octopuses. You want to jump over onto that kind of transformer thing, and then you want to land on the fence down there, being a little careful just to show what you do here. And then you want to jump from this fence over to that fence to continue on your way. And if you do it this way instead of going down there and breaking the boxes, you will skip the trigger that will cause the octopus to spawn. Just jump across. Now the first wave of octopus didn't spawn since I didn't take that path. So doing that saves a little time since you don't have to fight them. Okay, so now you're supposed to turn the power on, go through a battle, then go back and get the forklift to continue through this area. But instead of doing all that, I'm going to run into this side room here to get the hollow Duke. This crate. I got the hollow Duke.
Convenient.
And I'm going to go turn the power back on in this room. And when I do, I'm gonna start a battle, and I'm going to kind of skip the battle though by using the Hollow Duke to distract all the enemies. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that and explain what I'm gonna do next while I'm doing it actually. So that's on. I run along. There should be 2 pigs in this hallway. I'll kill at least one of them and ignore the other, and then drop the Hollow Duke. Now I'm in this area. I'm gonna push this button to lower the lift. The lift won't lower all the way though, but if you jump on this crate, you can jump over to it. That's not how you're supposed to do it, I think, but skip it. I'm still invisible, so the enemies are ignoring me. Press the elevator button. I didn't do it quite fast enough. But once you're here, you can just kill the enemies while you wait for the elevator to come down. That's it. You don't need the forklift at all and the fork stop. Okay, there's one more major skip I'm going to show off in this video, and that takes place in the Clarifier chapter. So I'm going to start that.
Squeal, piggy, squeal.
Okay, once you reach this point in the Clarifier, there is another major skip. So I'm going to blow those barrels up, kill that pig, and now what you're supposed to do is collect 4 barrels. You can see 2 of them from here. That's the only 2 I'm going to need for the skip. But you're supposed to go find and collect 4 barrels, stack them on that platform to make it go down to the ground, and you're supposed to run along that arm to continue through the level. But instead of doing all that, I am going to stack these 2 barrels in a difficult to reach spot over there, and then run along that pipe. And this saves time because you're supposed to fight a lot of enemies in this area to find the 4 barrels, but you really only need 2. So to get to this first barrel, I'm going to just come down here on these steps. I'm going to walk along this scaffolding and try to jump over that ladder and grab it. Okay, so here I go. Alright, to do this. There's more than one way to do this if you mess it up. The first thing I'll attempt to get the ladder. Okay, I got it. As long as you hit E there when it says use, you will grab onto any ladder. Once you get up here, you grab the first barrel and then toss it over towards the next one. Okay, now the real fun begins. The first thing you want to do is throw this barrel on top of that scaffolding. That's a little more difficult than it looks because you can't jump over to the scaffolding there where that box is blocking your jump. So I like to run over here, jump on this line I'm standing on, then jump and throw across, and if you're lucky it'll stick. So okay, it stayed. Then the next one I'm gonna grab, just carry it down here and use a different strat to get it up there. You just want to come over to this scaffolding, throw it towards that ladder to get it up there. And now, instead of using this ladder to climb up, I'm going to run over, jump and grab this one. It's a little silly, but it works. Now I just need to throw this barrel up to the next scaffolding. And the difficult part here is avoiding the ladder, so you want to go to the right of it, jump and throw it just right to get it up there. It can be more difficult than it looks actually. Okay, so that made it. So both barrels are up here. Now comes the final step. You want to jump over to that ledge right there on that pipe. And the jump is a little difficult because if you just run and jump, you won't make it. But if you run and jump where this ladder is, see when I step on the ladder, you get a small height increase when you're standing right above the ladder. Right there. That small height increase. While you're running, you have to wait until you are standing on top of the ladder. And while you're standing on the ladder, then you jump. Then you can make this jump. But if you do it before you're standing on the ladder, you won't make it. You just back up. Run and jump with the first barrel. Alright, I made the jump. And then once you're standing on this little ledge, come here near edge of the ledge, drop it. Carefully drop it so that it won't lean or anything. There, that's a good drop. In place. Now I just need to go back, get the second barrel, and stack it. You just jump back to the ladder, grab the barrel, and then do this jump again. Okay, yep, that was, did it first try both times. Now just stack just like before on the last skip. Now carefully jump up them. Well, I'm not able to jump on that. Oh, I have to restack them now. Okay, that's not a good stack apparently. Right, that's a good stack. There you go. You jump up those two barrels, then you can quickly jump up onto this pipe. And you can tell you're not supposed to be up here now because if you look in that direction, you can see some weird graphical error going on. That's all of the major sequence breaks I found in Duke Nukem Forever so far. I'm sure there are more out there waiting to be found. And there are also a lot of minor things you can do to save time throughout the game. If you're interested in seeing those, I'm going to start doing single segment runs of Duke Nukem Forever on twitch.tv very soon. Thank you for watching, and I'll leave you with this outtake. Okay, once you make it to Goose Town... What?